We're in the beginning our episode 3 of our oral history with Phyllis Hahn. When we last left off, we were just starting your history with Gamble Store.
Right. We came to Lusk to manage the Gamble Store, which was owned at that time by the Gamble dealer in Torrington and his partner in South Dakota. And over the years, when I started working there full time, because my children were all in school except for the youngest one, and he was in kindergarten, and he spent a lot of time with Dorothy Lower, who was a kindergarten teacher at that time, and bless her heart, she would feed him lunch. So that when he got his lunch, then he went back to the store with me and worked in this. He actually worked in the store. We put him to work putting wagons and tricycles together, and he was very good at it.
What year did you start the store here?
1960 in March.
60.
Yes. And we began. We went to every market that was available, and that gave us an opportunity to travel. And they recognized that the dealers' wives and the dealers were never taking a vacation. So they decided on an incentive program whereby you could earn points to travel if you would be faithful to the company and buy your merchandise that you sold only from them. So we were very fortunate. We got to travel a number of places that were really remarkable. The first trip we took was a Caribbean cruise in 1974, I think it was. We sailed out of Miami and went to Jamaica, Curacao, Grenada, and Barbados, and into Caracas in Venezuela. So that was really, that was just one of several that were really, really wonderful trips. So I have absolutely no regrets in spending a lot of time in that. And along with that, you know, I'm one of those people that have a little trouble saying no. So when they want somebody to do something and they know it'll get done, they would call me. But then I got over involved, and I'm still trying to let go of some things. But
where was the Gamble Store?
It was where the True Value is. No, let's start again. It was across the street where the New Life in Christ Baptist Church. That was the first location for 9 years, and we moved it across to where the True Value store is today. And that was originally built to be a Safeway store. It was vacant for 2 years, and we threw a price at them, and they took it. The owner did. And then when we bought out our business partners, we owned all of it. And then we kept it for a few years, and we were glad to see it continue, because this community needs a hardware store, because you shouldn't have to drive somewhere to get your nails and paint and everything.
Did you sell it then to
Albright's?
Terry?
Yes.
Oh, Terry's dad.
Well, it was. I think that's kind of a partnership there.
Well, what was the downtown like during your Gamble's years? What stores were your neighbors? What was the... Was it still a very busy time?
Yes.
Saturdays were very busy?
In 1960, the town was busy, busy, busy. They were still open on Saturdays. I just remember that when the banks closed on Saturday, it changed. And about that time, people were doing brandings on Sunday and not in church. It was a change in lifestyle and priorities. And it's just a different world.
Yeah. And what stores were right in your block at that time? Do you remember?
Well, let's see. There was a coast-to-coast store right next door. And there was I think it was it a Firestone store? Bob Templeton had for a while before he went into the bank. And then the Montgomery Ward had a catalog store across the street for a while. We had 2 drug stores. There was a cafe in the Ranger building, a very nice one. We had a dentist for a number of years. We had 2 doctors, 2 hospitals. The steakhouse is now the Cramped Closet down on the end of Main Street. It's not a cafe anymore. We used to have quite a few good eating places. Mm-hmm. And then where the Bank of the West is now, that was originally a service station. And then it became a little diner. It was Pop's Diner. And then that moved across the street into the corner where the Midwest Hardware used to be. And that became the diner over there. People would go there for coffee and they could watch the world go by because that was the main street. Actually, Lusk has a rather unique thing. Highway 20 goes all the way from New York to the West Coast, to the Pacific Ocean. And it also goes from Canada to Mexico. And from 3rd Street through 8th Street, Highway 20 and 85 go 5 blocks. Those two highways, and then there are only two-lane highways, but they cross right here in town. And we don't realize how much traffic goes through here, in semis especially, unless the roads get snowed shut and they line up for miles going every direction. And that was one of the things I kind of missed after I was no longer working in the store downtown. I didn't see the world go by. Boats, and one time it was a casino going by and 2 pieces headed to Reno. And the driver down on 8th Street had to use a remote control outside the car to get the 2 pieces through the intersection without taking out the intersection.
Well, speaking of snow, I wanted to make sure that I talked to you about the blizzard of 49.
Ah, the blizzard of 49, yes.
Tell me what you remember about that.
That's when we did move to town and stayed in the Lusk Cabins, which is now where about the Royal Apartments are. My mother moved in with us, and we didn't go to school for about 3 weeks, at least, until we could get our roads opened. And that was so many days of high winds and so much snow and severe cold. Animals would freeze to death standing up.
Your father stayed out at the ranch?
Yes.
With the boys?
No, actually he didn't. He had gone to Laramie with my older sister and older brother who were at the university at that time. He drove back and got as far as Guernsey, and he had an aunt there that he stayed with, and he followed the snowplow through when they opened the roads.
Oh my. Was there anyone at the ranch taking care of things?
Oh yeah, my mother and my younger brother and I, and my younger brother was taking the feed out to the cattle, and I was helping dig out the water tanks so they could get water.
But you were in town.
Oh, afterwards, after the blizzard, after we got loose from the blizzard, we moved to town for school.
Oh,
yes, I'm getting that mixed up.
Right.
Yes.
So you were out at the ranch.
I was at the ranch during the blizzard, yes. And I remember seeing my mother in tears because she thought my brother had gotten lost and frozen to death, because we had a hired man years and years and years ago that did, between the bunkhouse and the big ranch house. He got lost in the whiteout.
Oh my.
Whiteouts are very dangerous.
Did you lose much cattle? Did you lose a lot during that storm?
That sort of detail I was never really aware of. I had my own life. Schoolwork and 4-H and activities.
Yes, wow. Well, those are the things that I wanted to talk to you about. Is there anything more that I've not hit on or that we haven't discussed?
Oh, there probably is, but
we'll do an episode 4.
We've done it well.
If you think of more, we'll do another episode.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Phyllis.
You're welcome.